my first 3 seconds. So, Grand Rising and happy Saturday. Aaron is one of those people, a creature of habit. So now that he's back in school, he's up at school hours and I'm up. So, one of the things that uh, you know, one of the, shit, sorry, brain loading. One of the things that I have constantly been accused of is being needy. And it comes from having that abandonment issue. But ultimately, I'm not. And I've been misrepresented and underappreciated. um, the first person that ever called me needy was Jeremiah's dad. And that one was probably the worst because he would spend weeks at a time with his friends at the house, right? And when his friends would finally leave, I would want to spend time with him by myself because he always had his friends around. And there was one particular evening where he decided he was going to let Jeremiah come down, and I had a fit, and he ended up telling Jeremiah, that I didn't even love him because I just wanted to spend time with my partner by myself, without our son, without uh, other adults, just me and him. And honestly, it just shows that he didn't like me and he didn't want to spend time alone with me, but they love to use the "you're needy" if you want to spend time with them. um, I do text a lot, but especially when it comes to G told me that he had experienced infidelity before. So I tried to just tell him what I was doing so he wouldn't ever be concerned with what I was doing. You know what I mean? I wasn't like trying to be needy. I was trying to assist him in building trust with my movements because I do move funny. A lot of men give me their number. Like, for instance, when we had the issue with Corey, he knew Corey was coming. I told him about it well in advance. Um, and, oh, now I figured out how to do that. Oh, yeah, you saw that, huh? So I wasn't trying to be needy. I was trying to, like report so that I could build trust with my movements. I'm not needy. I really hate being presented as needy because neediness would imply that like I have to know what you're doing all the time, and I really, if you really were like to go back in history and see what I was doing and what I was asking, it was never "what are you doing? Where are you at?" Because I don't care. A needy person cares about that stuff. I don't care. I just want to know when you're coming back. When you come back. Don't care who you with while you're gone. It does help to know, but I just want to know when you're coming back. That's it. And I've always been presented as this person that like needs a whole lot of shit. I never do. I'm not needy. I don't need you to buy me anything. I would like to go somewhere, you know, I would like to go somewhere, but I'm not a person that needs you to buy me stuff. I don't need you to call me every day. But can you call me sometimes? like normal stuff. A lot of men, we've already had this discussion. A lot of men think basic needs and basic connection is neediness. You paint women to be like extremely needy and dependent when we're literally just asking for like basic shit. Uh-oh. Oops. We're asking for like the most basic of shit. And so then I've now been given this title for a long time, I mean years, of being needy. And I'm just like tired of that. You should have appreciated the fact that I was okay with updating you on every single thing I did because you had trust issues, but you didn't appreciate that. You just called it needy. You didn't even like, and I even told you why I did that shit, and you still called me needy. Like, what? I'm trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? That has probably been my biggest pet peeve about some of the things that have been said about me, because abandonment issues aren't synonymous with neediness. Abandonment issues are just about being consistent. I tried to even make a schedule like, hey, all right, you said you don't want to talk on the phone every day. I'm fine with that. How about we set a set schedule of talking on this day once a week or twice a week? How about, because I don't really think you have to I'm not controlling. You know what I'm saying? I'm not controlling and I'm not needy. You do not have to, I don't expect you to text me back every single time I send you a text. That would be asinine. I was like really one of the first people to note how phones are actually invasive. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from the era where we were still writing letters, and if you couldn't get through, you had the busy signal. There was no texting. Like, I'm from that era. So I don't think that it's normal for people to think, okay, well, you got your phone in your hand all the time. How come you didn't text me back? I'm not that type of person, but I texted you 3 days ago. How come you didn't text me back? That's kind of, okay, like that. I think that's normal. But now that I'm mad about it, now I'm needy. I'm not the only woman that experiences this. This is a complete projection, in fact, because men are far needier than women will ever be. No woman is sitting here like, I need a man to cook and clean for me and just lift me up so that I can go to work and just worry about my work. Like, it's a projection that women are needy. And because of that, women are so appreciated and misrepresented. Their dependents, their children, they need assistance. Last time I checked, I watched a public offender video last night where a woman was speaking on, men. She speaks specifically on black men, but it's not just black men, because I've dealt with white men, okay, where they just need the most basic of guidance. You got to teach them how to do their laundry. When I was 22 years old, my oldest son's father called me and asked me how to use a debit card. So y'all be sitting here acting like we're the ones that are needy. No, if you need a whole bunch of chicks to be following you around, okay, if you need a whole bunch of chicks to be filling your head up, you know what I'm saying, gassing you up, you're the needy one. And a lot of you are like that. I'm not going to say all men, but my personal belief is it's all men because the men who don't participate and don't behave that way. So a man who didn't need help learning how to do his laundry, a man who didn't need someone to do their paperwork. I mean, I literally complained about that in the emotional rape video, part 2, that my child, Aaron's father, was telling me I wasn't wife material because I wouldn't go down to the courthouse and do paperwork for him. Y'all are needy, okay? And it's all men because the men who don't act this way are codependent and enabling to the men who do. I know there's a lot of men that are now on the road, like public offender, of trying to expose this stuff, but that's still not enough. That's like 1% of men. So therefore, it's still all men. You know what I mean? Women are constantly being misrepresented as needy, as um, controlling, as gold diggers. We done already seen the men follow men with money. That's men doing that. They dick riding. That's men. You the one that need somebody to keep your house together for you. Whether it be your mom, your girlfriend, your side chick, somebody's gonna come over your house and clean your house for you, or you don't ever gotta do it. The audacity. I'm about sick of it. I'm just sick of it. Oh, I'm needy because I asked you to call me. That's just basic stuff. Y'all can't even do basic stuff for women and then call them needy when you literally need them to cater to your entire life. They got to do your paperwork, they got to help you find a job. I've seen so many women do it. It's annoying. It's like it's really annoying me. They gotta help you find a job. Then when they help you find the job, you're cheating on them with the women you found at the job. You needy. You need that validation. You. Not saying I have actually helped somebody find a job. That's coming from a past situation. Actually, I helped my oldest child's father get a job at a place that I had been working several years. Like I work seasonally for edible arrangements, and I work seasonally for Spirit Halloween. And I got him a job at Spirit Halloween, and the first thing he does is sleep with one of my coworkers. Actually, kick me out the house to sleep with this coworker. That's neediness. That's what needy is. Okay, where you need sex. You need someone to fucking. I done already said all the shit. Y'all the needy ones. And I'm tired of women being misrepresented and underappreciated because we run the world, and not really kids run the world. Okay, but how do you get kids? Women. So we second in line for running the world because y'all don't know how to do nothing. But then you want to be presidents and world rulers and say women. Women, they can't even control themselves. You can't control your dick. And then you try to tell us that's exactly who you are. Uh, uh, men need more women. They can't be happy with one woman. They need more women. But you're needy because you need a phone call from me. Yeah. So I just I'm we need the paradigm to be flipped back the way it was. This narcissistic paradigm, the patriarchal, I struggle with that word, the patriarchy, all that stuff. It's just a paradigm switch. I'm pretty sure if women were back in rule, we wouldn't be having these problems because y'all done took it too far. But that's all I wanted to say about that. I actually had other things to say yesterday, and I just got so exhausted that I never said anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like uh, Thursday I was gone like a work day. I did a lot of walking, and the day before that I did a lot of walking too. So I didn't get to say what I wanted to say yesterday. So I lately Aaron has been asking me. Okay. So lately, Aaron has been asking me about being a psychic. He loves to tell people that, and it's funny because he kind of like does it in private, you know. He'll like, my mom is a psychic. Because I keep telling him to stop telling people that. That's my personal business. But he's 7, and for some reason, he thinks that he's not as powerful or that he doesn't have the gift, you know, when I myself have witnessed the boy got the gift. Right? He's got a lot of gifts, actually. That's why he is so popular around here, because he's got the gift. He's got some kind of, I don't know. He just got, and now he's got stuff. I've talked about it before because he's very popular. It's like sitting and just being on the sidelines and not being popular is fun for me, you know? But he's been asking lately, like, when did you know that you were a psychic? When did you know? I don't know. Like, even as I do this channel, a lot of the times I experience a lot of imposter syndrome. I see things happen. Like, I'll do my readings, I'll see things happen, and I'll be like, oh, wow, that, you know, I am a psychic. I mean, how did I get to Brandywine, Maryland? All these things are, my abilities, but it's never really been a thing where I was just like, it wasn't a thing that I'm psychic. What my life looked like as a child, okay, because one, I had the understanding of the Bible, and I was just different, and that's not a flex. I just was different. But one of the things that my dad did, it was like, and he did it all my life, even when I was an adult. It was like being kept Jabba the Hutt. It was like being kept, like, you know how he has Sarah. Why did I call her Sarah? Princess Leia. He had her on this leash, right? That's kind of how my abilities were. Like, my dad kind of used me like a circus trick or something. You know what I'm saying? He would ask me, "Hey, have you seen my shoes?" No, I did not see his shoes, but it would always be where I said it was. Have you seen my keys? It would always be where I said it was. I did not see them. It's like he would just use me for this little fucking party trick. You know what I'm saying? All the time. He couldn't keep track of it. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Because we're sitting here and we're talking about how men are needy, and they try to say women are. This is an example. My dad could never keep track of his shit, and he would use this weird ass ability. It seems minor, but now we see how fast and how powerful I actually am. Keeping me on this leash is kind of like it's Jabba the Hutt and Leia. Or another example from a movie would be like dang, I forgot. I forgot it, but he would Jean Grey and Charles Xavier. That would be another one where she's a level 5, but she's an Omega, but she literally thought she didn't have any grasp on her powers. Like, Jean Grey would make things fall down. She couldn't even really have any control of her powers, her telekinesis, and all this stuff, right? Then you find out she's fucking out of this world powerful. This is how my life was growing up. Like, they would just have me do these random things. Like, they noted that I was powerful, but the level of power that they were allowing me to use was like very small. You know what I'm saying? So where's my keys? Where's my shoes? Did you see this white? I mean, he would describe stuff. Did you see this white paper? It had what? Yeah, it's under your bed, or it's in if you look in your dresser. It's on the third. It's on the third shelf. It was very simple shit. But realizing that he actually knew that I had an ability and he was using it like a party trick. And he did this my entire life, like until I stopped seeing and hanging out with my dad, which was well before I left. I stopped hanging out with my father um, shortly after I had Aaron, because he actually brought me into his home while I was feeling suicidal. And after that, I really never talked to him again because there was an incident. Um, and I remember my grandma would ask me to come. Why don't you spend time with your dad? You need to spend time with your dad. And I'll just look at him, and he would look at me. Like I ain't trying to hang out with this man, needy. So I there was never really a point where it's like I'm a psychic. Like even now I still suffer with saying it sometimes. Uh reading people. That was always a thing for me too, like reading people or somebody come up to me, the empathic thing. Actually, I noted the empath thing shortly after I had Aaron, but that's kind of after I had Aaron, it was like something happened. There was a shift. I never paid attention to angel numbers before. With Natanya, the shift was animal totems. I started looking into animal totems a lot because I just noticed certain things that would constantly be in my face, right? And then after that, after I had Aaron, it was angel numbers. They just automatically just started appearing, and what's that? Why do I see that? Da, da, da. And at the time, I'm speaking with Darlin. Darlin was kind of like a little spiritual teacher sometimes, because he was on a different path than me. He was at the time he was Hebrew Israelite, but he left them eventually. Like he actually cycled through a lot of belief systems himself, and I was kind of like just following along, not following. I would maybe peer, into his direction and what. Oh, I'm gonna learn more about that, and then it's not really for me, and learn more about that, and it's not really for me, but he was walking me through some, like we were walking together. You know what I'm saying? So um the angel numbers really started in like 2018, which I've already noted in the last couple of weeks that 2018 is a pivotal year, apparently, like where this stuff kind of really picked up. But all my life, I was just like a little party trick. And, now knowing and seeing how vast my abilities are, it kind of makes me mad. Not only that, I don't think I've ever mentioned this. Okay. When I was staying in Maryland, I stayed in a Motel 6 often. I really liked that Motel 6. I do not know why. It wasn't nothing special. I just really was drawn to it. I would go there on the weekends. During the week, I would stay like in the park and ride. And then on the weekends, I would go to the hotels to like, really get cleaned up and things like that. It was across the street from a base in Maryland, like a military base. And my mother, was actually assigned to this base. Then that's what I actually found funny about it. Okay, because my mother worked for that base, and she actually lived not too far from this hotel. And I enjoyed the fact that she didn't know where I was, but she did. She did actually know where I was, but I enjoyed the fact that she didn't know where I was, and I was like right under her nose. I'm right across the street from her job. I'm down the street from her house. This shit is funny. Here's what I found out about that base. They used to do procedures, experiments on psychics. Is that any coincidence? If you're spiritual, there are no coincidences. I don't know if those things continue. I don't know. I don't have top secret security clearance, but she does. And so this misrepresentation of who her daughter is just very interesting because, what are the odds that you work at a base or work for a base, because she don't work there at that base now. And she really mostly worked from home. She's a contractor, but there were times where she would have to go to that base. What are the odds that you work at a base that specifically does experiments on psychics, and your daughter is a psychic, and you probably knew? There's no way you didn't know, because you guys had me doing weird little party tricks. That misrepresentation is just so insane. And then it was never appreciated. Those gifts were never appreciated. The way I speak life into people is because I can literally just look at them and they say one thing to me and I can give them a background in their whole life. Some. Not everybody is readable like that, but most people are. Just randomly just say the most uplifting things to a complete stranger. You knew. And then you have the audacity to call me crazy. The other half is calling me needy. I've been misrepresented. But I just wanted to share a little bit of history of what my childhood looked like with these abilities. And I kind of see where Aaron feels like he has some shoes to fill or something. He feels like he's not doing, and I'm like, bro, do you know that you told me the names of people that you don't even know? You saw your grandma before anybody knew she was dead. Do you know that you are actually pretty powerful yourself? Like, he's always just, it's like really cute and not cute, because I'm concerned that he may put too much pressure on himself with his abilities. But he's been very curious to know, when did this start for you? Day one, I guess. 3 years old, I want to, be Jesus's wife, and I understood the Bible at 3. I understood, salvation. And as you see, I understand that much further, much more than that, right? But I hope that he doesn't put too much pressure on himself to be like me, because he don't need to be. But he's actually probably more powerful than I am. And I'm glad that I get to teach him, It's actually bringing tears to my eyes, because we went to a neighbor a couple weeks ago. She asked for us to come by, and we were sitting on the back porch. My child, they're playing. I really love her daughter. Her daughter reminds me of my daughter. They're just like the purest little beings, okay? So they're playing, and this other neighbor, her neighbor, comes up, because this neighbor is not really a neighbor. She's not in our complex. She's over like on another one. And starts randomly talking about some of her paranormal experiences. Aaron perks up. And he's sitting there, and he starts asking her these questions. I didn't even know. Hold up. I didn't even know that he pays attention like that. And I don't even think it's natural. I don't think he's ever really seen me completely minister to someone. But she was experiencing paranormal activity, and he's over here asking her questions, telling her about some of his own personal experiences. And it was fascinating to watch, because like, oh my God, he's soaking it up. He really is. And sometimes, not sometimes, it's all the time, how I remind myself that, the older children do not have a mark of a high priest or priestess in their charts. They still have some very rare things in their chart, but they don't have the mark of a high priest or a high priestess. Aaron does. And I've thought to myself, because we know that in their birth charts, they also share, the older two share a placement where they would have to be removed from. Hey, stop that. Don't act like you want to go in there, because as soon as you get in there, you're going to hiss at them. So the older two have a placement where they're going to have to leave me. They had to leave me. And then I realized it's probably because Aaron needed individual attention in terms to his spirituality. And he probably wouldn't have got the level of spirituality he's gotten if those other two children weren't removed. And like, he needed that to watch me immersed in the spirit. He needed to watch that stuff so that he could go on his own path, you know? So I that's it. That's all I had to say today. But it goes in line with the misrepresentation, the unappreciation. They all they hand in hand. The projection of neediness, all of that stuff. That it's all hand in hand. That's all. You guys have a great day.